I'm George Anderson from runningbygeorge.com and welcome to another episode of Ron Hill's Run Every Day. Today I'm going to talk to you about a subject that gets runners running for the hills. I'm going to talk to you about the hills. It does strike the fear of God into many of us when we think about running up hills and running down hills, and wouldn't it be just so much easier if everything was flat? But let's face it, reality says we're going to hit a slope or two at one point or another in our running careers. So today I've got 3 things that I want to share with you that's hopefully going to make this a little bit more, not just easier, but more enjoyable. The first thing is to embrace the hills and actually build some hill training into your training program. So in the first few weeks of whatever training program cycle you're on, whether it's 10K right up to the marathon, even if it's a flat course that you're doing, flattish, because there's normally a few little slopes that they sneak in there somehow, then include an element of hill training, whether that's just 1 run a week in the early stages of your hill program. And there are various ways of attacking the hills, of doing either continuous hill training or hill sprints, hill intervals. There's a load of different ways. I'm not going to go into those details today, but I just want you to encourage you to investigate, practice, play around with it, add some hills into the early stages of your program, because that's going to have a physiological benefit from any hills you come up with later on, as your body is more tuned in to coping with them. The thigh muscles, the glutes, all the muscles of the running muscles are going to be better able to cope with hills when you've trained on them. It stands to reason. That's why we do training in the first place. The second thing is psychologically. So physiologically you're tuned in. Psychologically you're more likely to embrace these hills, and it's not going to have the same kind of fear factor that it might otherwise do if you did all your training on the flat. The second thing is the way you run up a hill. Now, depending on the severity of the incline, if something's really steep and you're literally hands and feet to get up the thing, then this isn't going to stand true. But most of the time, what I would encourage you to do is to lean in toward the hill. If you imagine you're right here, you're vertical, you're running along the flat, you hit a hill, the incline increases. If you keep your vertical axis relative to the hill, then all of a sudden you're leaning back and gravity is pulling you down. Now, what most of us tend to do is we then bend at the waist, so our chest is facing towards the ground, but our bums are back there. We're still being pulled backwards, and it feels like we're running through treacle or running up a hill, because that's what we're doing. But there's a better way, and the better way is to stay tall, lengthen the spine as you run, and lean into the hill from your ankles. Because if you lean in from your ankles, what happens then is gravity is now pulling you down, and that has a forward moving component as well. So lean in, drive your arms a little bit more forcefully, and take shorter steps. So you're getting into contact more, you're just working up the hill. If you keep looking right up and you're straining your neck, you can see there's miles away to go till I get to the top of this damn thing, then that's going to make it less enjoyable and harder. So my advice is to look a few meters ahead of you, keep focusing on the ground that you're running on, and keep putting one foot in front of the other with that nice tall long body. Accept that you're going to slow down, or if you keep going at the same speed, the intensity is going to increase. So you've got 2 choices there: keep the same speed and the intensity will build, or keep the intensity the same and slow the speed down. That's normally my modus operandi. And the third thing I want to tell you about is on the downhills. You've got this opportunity for free speed when you hit the downhill. So what goes up must come down, and although you're not going to recoup the lost energy that you put into the uphill, you can get a little bit of it back, but you have to let it go. So again, if it's not too steep and you can do this safely, then just relax as you go down. Use your arms to give you a little bit of ballast and a little bit of support, so they're just controlling the movement, but allow your feet to just land on the ground and fall down the hill, so it's controlled falling. And this free speed is going to give you a little bit of a break. You've got to control it, so it's not going to be any effort at all. It can be quite stressful on the thighs as well, so just watch for that if you're doing some of this in training. But it's a great way of recouping some of the lost effort that you lose, some of the effort you lose when you're going up the hill in the first place. So there we go, 3 ways to begin to embrace the hills and actually begin to enjoy them as the natural challenge that they are. Thanks very much for watching this video. Please, if you haven't yet subscribed to the Run Everyday Challenge, or you just want to see how everybody is getting on, then click the link below. Share this video with your friends. I'm George Anderson, and I will see you again on the next video. Bye for now.